There is a modern prison in Johnson County, Kansas, USA. It is called the New Century Adult Detention Center. It is located southwest of Kansas City. This prison is built in such a way that every prisoner is kept under surveillance at all times through technology. There are large monitor screens inside the prison. Officers can see every part of the building through them. Corridors, cells, courtyards, the outside of the walls, everything. Modern cameras are so powerful that they can even see the license plates of cars on the other side of the bridge in the distance. All doors and windows are controlled by computers. Officers can open or close any door from one building. If there is a problem in the prison, a lockdown is immediately declared and all prisoners are counted. Discipline here is very strict. Anyone who breaks the rules is punished immediately. No prisoner is given a break easily. That is why many prisoners consider this prison to be the toughest prison. They say that being here means breaking people mentally. One day in November 2009, a fight broke out from a minor argument while playing cards. The entire incident was captured in camera. The two prisoners started hitting each other. Blood started flowing. The rest of the prisoners ran away in panic. The officers on duty quickly ran over and declared Court 200, which meant a fight had broken out between the prisoners. Within moments, more officers arrived and took control of the entire place using tasers, maces, spray, and if necessary, physical force. After the incident, the two prisoners were kept in solitary confinement for 20 days. This is called disciplinary segregation. They have to spend 23 hours a day in a closed cell. When they leave the cell, their hands and feet are tied. Inmates in this prison are kept based on their behavior, not according to the type of case. That is, a murderer and a thief can be kept in the same type of cell if they behave calmly. The Johnson County government has made this prison very advanced. Recently, a new building was built at a cost of about $54 million to bring in prisoners from the old prison. The transfer starts with the most dangerous prisoners. Among them was Brian McHenry, only 20, charged with theft and driving with a suspended license. He often disobeyed officers and behaved mentally unstable. One day he was asked to take a shower as per the rules, but he stood there silently. He didn't answer. The rule is that prisoners have to shower at least 3 times a week to prevent the spread of disease. But when McHenry didn't move, the officers moved slowly. Finally, he was taken out of the cell and forced to bathe. Later, the officers found something hidden in the back of his body. They suspected it might be a weapon. A doctor was immediately brought in. Later, it was found to be a broken part of a razor. Not dangerous, but against the rules. Then a major operation began. The prisoners were transferred from the old prison to the new Century prison, 11 miles away. The task was carried out by the Sheriff's Emergency Response Team, a special force that keeps dangerous prisoners under control. They are fully prepared with tasers, plastic bullet guns, handcuffs and chains. This force undergoes regular training so that they can quickly enter a cell and suppress a rebellious prisoner. Their presence instills fear in the prisoners. They know that the consequences of resistance will be fatal. The prisoners were not informed before this transfer, because the officers know that a sudden change in environment can cause prisoners to break down mentally and become violent. So the whole process was done in secret. Another dangerous prisoner in the group was Fawaz al-Sayed. He was a young man from Iraq who was accused of shooting. Being left alone for a long time had left him mentally unstable. One day he was seen hiding under his bed and refusing to come out. Later, a doctor examined him and found him physically fine but mentally unstable. The officers forced him out and made him sit on a restaurant chair. Al-Sayed was sent back to the whole cell, but it didn't take long for him to start causing trouble again. He said, "I was still causing trouble. I was messing with the police. I was flushing the toilet." During the incident, he drew signs of chaos on the wall of his cell with his feces. This time, the police came in protective gear and forced him out of the cell to take a shower. They thought he had tried to eat his own feces. The police asked why he was eating his own feces. He replied, "I was hungry, brother." He said, "I had been causing trouble since I was a child. People don't change." That's right. But no matter how much he says he's changed, the authorities aren't taking any chances. The sheriff's special forces are guarding the entire block, because many of the inmates here are dangerous. One by one, the inmates in the maximum security unit are led out of their cells, handcuffed and shackled. Everything was going well until they arrived at the cell of 26-year-old inmate Jose Solis. Since his arrest in 2006 for the murder of his ex-girlfriend, he has repeatedly gotten into trouble with the guards. There was also a scuffle when he was being taken out of his cell. As a result, he was tied to a restaurant chair. The deputies told him to get up, but he wouldn't budge. He demanded to know where they were taking him. The authorities wouldn't say much. "We need to clear the entire section. Take off your clothes." Everyone is wary, given his violent past. After a while, he calmly emerges and is taken downstairs. Then more than 24 inmates are loaded onto a bus. None of them know where they are being taken or for how long. Soon word came that the prisoners were being transferred to a new prison, the new Century Adult Detention Center in Gardner, Kansas. It is one of the most modern prisons in the United States. The old prison in Olathe is being closed for renovation. But when the prisoners learned that they would be held in a maximum security unit again, anger and unrest spread among many. Jeremy Velarde's 25 was particularly agitated. On the night of his arrest, he tried to fool the police while under the influence of alcohol and drugs. He says that "I was not myself at that time. I was talking nonsense to the guards." Inside the prison, he behaved indecently. He provoked the police by getting naked, so he was sent to a room known as the rubber room. This is a special type of cell where inmates under the influence of drugs or alcohol are kept. After listening to disruptive behavior for nearly 3 hours, the officers finally restrained him, placing a safety mask over his face to prevent spitting or biting. They told him that being secured in the chair was the direct result of his own actions. When the inmates arrived at the new facility, many became disappointed. The outdoor area for fresh air was much smaller than before, and they now had to spend up to 23 hours inside their cells, with no personal belongings allowed. Everything was monitored by cameras for security. About a week later, another inmate, Antonio Gutierrez, became involved in an incident with someone he believed had reported him. Surveillance footage made the situation clear, and he was immediately placed in a high-security holding cell. Even there, he remained disruptive, repeatedly causing block-wide disturbances, leading officials to move him into a camera-equipped observation cell where every movement could be monitored. Meanwhile, a person struggling with substance abuse had earlier been involved in a dangerous high-speed pursuit, and another inmate attempted self-harm, prompting officers to take urgent steps to save his life. At the new Century facility, the courtroom introduced a new system called video court, where inmates appear before a judge through a secure video call directly from the jail, saving both time and reducing security risks. 28-year-old Joshua Footmore participated in his hearing this way after being arrested while attempting to flee from a police vehicle. He admitted he had taken drugs and made poor decisions. At this jail, every movement of an inmate is supervised. Whenever someone leaves a cell, officers conduct a search to ensure nothing unauthorized is carried out. The staff must remain alert at all times, and sometimes physical control becomes necessary when an inmate becomes loud or non-compliant.
Johnson County's high-tech detention center is known for its strict discipline, and the mental stress on inmates can be significant. Officers are always aware that self-harm risks exist. In October 2009, when one inmate attempted to harm himself, an emergency medical alert, known as Code 9, was declared. Deputies and medical staff immediately used life-saving techniques, including assisted breathing and defibrillation, before sending him to the hospital. For safety, he was later dressed in specialized protective clothing designed to prevent self-harm. Incidents like these show that, no matter how advanced the technology becomes, monitoring inmates' mental well-being is extremely important. Another example is Linda Ruppert, an inmate who repeatedly showed agitated behavior and flooded her cell, prompting officers to secure her and later transfer her to a mental health facility for evaluation. Discipline at New Century Jail is maintained strictly. Anyone who breaks the rules is addressed immediately. 25-year-old Jeremy Velarde, after his transfer to the new maximum security unit, became involved in several confrontations with officers, even during a disagreement over phone access. He was quickly brought under control and placed for several weeks in an isolation cell known as the Hole. Similarly, 25-year-old Sen Tucker also clashed with officers and was sent to the same unit. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.